for the introduction.
Yeah, I think we can summarize questions really to the Q&A session. So if you have any questions, jot them down, and then we do them also in regard to Magnolia in the end. Okay?
Sure.
All right. Thank you, Pauline. So as we have established the procedure, I will do a kind of a conceptual introduction to the functionalities that Lucas shares afterwards with you. So you basically see a bit of the process, what happened when we conceived the ARK as a solution and how it is being implemented now. So every time during the last few beta calls, I showed this slide. It's the 7 ARK concepts. There's an ecological concept, a pedagogical concept, organizational concept, a neurological, a technological, a library, and an economy concept. Today we talk about the economy concept. Next slide, please. So just as a stimulation, it's a graph that I have found online. The poorest 50% of the world have the same amount of wealth as these 8 men on the top. I think you know them all. It says a lot about the economic situation on our planet. Who has heard of the French economist Thomas Piketty? Have you heard of him? Thomas Piketty wrote a widely acclaimed book in, I think, 2014. It was called The Capital in the 21st Century. And he did a longitudinal research and confirmed with a team of economists that we currently have, again, the same wealth accumulation like we had it before World War I. So our society is getting very, very unequal globally. Okay, next slide. Based on the assumption that our environmental crisis is also a social and economic crisis, we need a kind of a system transformation. So we had 400 years of capitalism, 250 years of industrial revolution. We focused on material and individual growth, and that's not bad per se. But what happened is that we extracted value from people and planet. And this requires now a transformation. It's not about pointing with fingers on people that drove the Industrial Revolution. It's about really jointly finding a solution. So how could a post-material world look like? Do we need a sort of consciousness revolution? How about focusing on spiritual and collective growth instead of I? It's more important to focus on the we. And the tagline here would be adding value to people and planet, growing together. Okay, so how could this look like on the ARK? Next slide, please. So in the center is always the user. This person could be an employee. This person could be a teacher in a school. This person could be just a student, the pupil. It could be our own child. It could be ourselves. It's the user of the ARK platform. And this user can access 2 modules. One is the learning module or certification module, where we basically participate in a purpose economy. The purpose economy is measured in time that creates value. Value in our communities, value in our societies. And on the other side, you see what we call the payment module. This reflects the system in which we currently mostly operate, the profit economy. So you can also use the ARK to sell activities, services, and products. And we try to merge with the ARK both those areas to really be able to ignite a transformation. Okay, I thought also for today, because we introduce a complete new set of functionalities, that we need to review the ARK roles. There are 3 central roles, but you see 4 circles on the right side. There's the learner or user. Then there's the facilitator. The facilitator has all the functionalities and all the user rights of the learner, plus a bit more. Then you have the community mentor. Again, the community mentor has all the user rights of the learner and the facilitator and a bit more. And then you have the regional mentor. The regional mentor is somebody who trains or is in charge of an entire bioregion as a sort of supporter. And on the left side, you see basically in words, what are those functionalities? So the learner can join events, courses, and communities. The learner, this is a functionality we have in the pipeline, can rate activities, facilitators, and communities. The facilitator can design, promote, and sell activities. The facilitator can award impact points and badges, create and rate best practices. The community mentor can, on top of all that, also edit the community profile, drive community objectives, and evaluate community or team impact and revenue. So the impact here is this purpose economy concept that I introduced. Revenue is the profit economy concept that I showed you. And Lucas is going to share with you now the new functionality, Mentor Analytics, for the community mentor.
All right. So thank you for introducing the concept. So can you hear me well? Because I had a problem with my laptop. All good? All right, great. So let's get going. I'm gonna share my screen, and so let's take it from the community profile. So we have implemented performance or analytics functionality for the community mentors, which means it's a functionality which gives you overview about how you've been doing in this month and in the previous time chunks. So let's take a look at the example of Green Steps Shanghai. On the top, if you are a community mentor, besides profile and bookings, in where you can see all the upcoming bookings, we've got a new tab, performance, and in the performance tab, we can see two main cards. So we split the overview into purpose economy and into profit economy. In the purpose economy tells you how many impact points you have assigned in the given time period. So to give an overview, we show you how you've been doing this month, in the last month, and in this year. So the number which is shown in here is the total amount of impact points that have been awarded by your community, which means the impact points that you have assigned to participants of your events. So in this way, you can basically judge what was the total length of the events and how many participants went through it. Because for each hour, for each participant, you get 10 impact points, right? Or the participants get 10 impact points. So we can see in many events this month in Green Steps Shanghai was 75 hours of learning. Last month was 331 hours of learning. And this year, yeah, as we are in January, is the same as this month. And on the right side, we can see the profit economy, which then shows the reality in which we all have to exist, which is making enough profit to keep going, at least. So the structure is the same in here. It's this month, last month, and this year. And it's the total of your community, is the total that your community has earned by organizing activities on the ARK. So these two are the overview cards, and under that we can see a card in which we can see the details. So the first one is showing an overview of services. First, you see events, the total amount of events that you have created so far, and you can filter from all time, this month, last month, and this year. And you can also sort by impact points, by revenue, and by participants. And so the first product that we have in here, it's actually not an event, it's a product. It has to be filtered out. But Under that, we can see Plastic Pirates, 30 points have been awarded. 30 people have gone through it. That doesn't make sense. And 864 RMB have been made. Yeah. And in the team card, you can get an overview of your team members and how they have been performing. So in here, you can see that your team currently has 16 facilitators, and I can see that the sorting is not here right now, but they should be sorted by either the impact points that they have awarded to participants, or by the number of participants they have gone through their events, or by the revenue that has been generated in their events. So yeah, simple like that. It's a bunch of analytics that we want to start with to provide to the communities to be able to see how they have been doing on both the purpose side and the profit side, and to be able to see how their team members are doing, are performing. Yeah, so I wanted to pass the word to Knut, who wanted to add something on this topic. You are muted.
Does it work now?
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is quite a complex functionality. So I thought we just round it up a bit. If the concept is somehow clear, but we have been asked to also enable and empower the community mentors in a sort of a management function to drive impact. Well, if I want to drive impact, I need to see what each team member really achieves. I want to set objectives. And we set those objectives both in a profit environment, but also in a purpose environment. So here in Europe, a lot of environmental education is done by non-profits. They get maybe a state grant or local funding, and then they work. So how can we actually measure their impact? For facilitators, it's quite obvious because it's the time they really spend in their activities with people. So we want to see how many people have been participating and how many hours have those facilitators really facilitated activities. This is not necessarily connected to a turnover, especially if you don't run, for example, a private school or a private kindergarten like Magnolia. But if I run a private organization that is profit oriented, then I also want to have the numbers on the revenue that the team achieves. And this is basically what you get in this new mentor analytics function. It should help you to set goals for individual team members and for the entire team. And you can even set later on challenges for the entire community. So whoever has been using maybe iNaturalist knows that such community challenges or regional challenges are quite an interesting way to motivate people to do more. That was the roundup. I think it makes sense, Lucas, that we stick to the script and you continue to show the other functionalities. If you have anything that crosses your mind on questions, jot it down and shoot the question in the Q&A section.
Right. All right. So thanks for explaining more on the reasons why we have implemented this. And I'm going to share my screen again. And let's keep going. So the second thing that I wanted to show to you is related to translation. So I'm going to switch to my text editor so you can have a bit of glimpse of code. So with the ARK, we depend on external translators to help us to bring the ARK into multiple languages. So far, we've got Chinese, German, Italian, English, and Turkish, and French, actually, which is not in here. And so far, we've had a rather cumbersome way to ask for updating the translations from the translators. Basically, always we send them a huge file with all the text that appears in the ARK, and they have to go through it manually and see what has changed. So we've perked it up, and we have created a tool which creates two files for the translators. One is the new translations, and one is the updated translations. And we give these two files to the translators with the note that, okay, these are the new translations, and you only have to translate the things between the arrows. And these are the updated translations. And again, you only need to update the things between the arrows. And so in this way, it is much more convenient for them because they only need to really look at what there is to do. They don't need to see all the things that don't have to be done. And the translations that are then sent back to us are automatically integrated into the code. So that's maybe for the more techy ones from you. And let's get going to the third thing that I wanted to show to you, and that is resources, or basically file attachments to events and courses. This is one of the functionalities that we've also been asked for very often. So we have added it. So if you have an event on the ARK, I'm going to use the beta communities call of today. I'm going to go to edit it. And in step number 4, resources, you can scroll down, and you can see the resources section where you can upload files that you want to share with participants. So I'm gonna select some file. Okay, a random Chinese QR code. Why not? And you can define the name, so QR code for participants. Of course, normally it would be PDFs, presentations, short videos, things like that. The maximum size here is 50 megabytes. And then you click next, the file is saved. And if we go back to the public page of this event, there is a new section that you can see, which is right under the tickets, which is resources. And you can see that people can download the files from here. Simple like that. All right, let me check my cheat sheet. What was the next thing to talk about? Course single session tickets. So if you are making a course which consists out of many single sessions which are taking place over a long period of time, let's say this is a draft of a spring program in Shanghai, which has many sessions, one every week. So it's one on 12th February, one on 19th of February, one on 5th of March, things like that. In the past, you had to promote every single session of the course separately. So basically, if you had 100 events in, let's say, spring program, and then you would have to create 100 posters. This was a big workload, so we came up with a new way of ticketing for courses. So for each course session, you can then set a default ticket, and you only set the default session ticket once per course for the whole course, and it gets automatically added to all the course sessions. And then when participants go to join on the course page, they can see all the available sessions of that course, and they can select the sessions that they want to book. And after they finish the booking, they become automatically participants in sessions, which means you have a very clear overview of who is coming, when, to which session. And you only need to make one promotion material for the whole course. So again, incremental improvements based on the experience from the current users. All right, and then the last thing was best practices in the new library. So for those of you who came in the previous beta course, you might remember that we have redone the library. We call it Library 2.0. And we just wanted to show you that all the content that we have already entered in the old library, in the library 1.0, has already been migrated. So these are all the best practices that have been shared from Green Steps Shanghai by our nature guides. So these are basically activities that we want to share with other communities, so that more people have the chance of participating in them, and basically the knowledge is shared and spread. Yeah, so currently we've got 32 best practices in the library, and growing. Some of them are multilingual, both in English and Chinese. And yeah, this is the way that we want to show how this is supposed to work. So we hope that soon we will see some best practices from all of you. All right, so that was it from my side. I give it back to Richard, and we can probably get started with the Q&A.
Yes. Thank you so much, Lucas, for the wonderful presentation, and Nick for your contribution and explanation. Yeah, so any questions? If you have any questions, this is the time to shoot with regards to the functionalities and with regards to the earlier on Mongolia conversation.
I do have a question. Lucas, thanks very much for the presentation. When signing up for an event, is it possible to pre-fill the name of the person who is already signed into GreenStep in the ARK, that name is already pre-filled before pressing the confirm button?
Right. So first, why it's not like this is because we want to make sure that people really put there the person who is coming. So that was the thinking behind that. So basically, when parents are booking for themselves, they don't pay attention. They're gonna just keep putting themselves into the field, and that's why we did not pre-fill it. Second part of my answer is we have finished the design process of the new sign up 2.0. That basically is making this whole thing much easier with buttons of it's me coming. And then the sign up process is currently being rewritten with all the skills that we have gained in the past year.
Cool, thank you.
No questions. Maybe also in regard to Magnolia. Oh, Pauline.
Yeah. So thanks again, Lucas. Always very clear when you're sharing as well. You are sharing with us these functionalities for the in the library part, the best practice. Because, well, to be honest, with all the move of my family and so on, and still leading Magnolia, but from Lisbon before a transition later. But I still want to. I'm still keeping the lead on the ARK thing. So library, inside the library, because right now with the COVID, we are not allowed to invite some people. So Knut told me as well that I can still share some information without inviting people to see that there is a dynamic in the school. So that I got it, and I need to implement my community inside my community. My question is, inside the library, you say that we can share the best practices inside. Does that mean that, for example, I can't introduce some, how to say, I was thinking about, we did a workshop with the kids with a little French lady who are building her company named Eco Guy, which is to do your own liquid laundry product. So we invited to do it at school with but I want as well all the families and everyone to contact this lady, because I think it's one of the good practice we implement in our school, but I want to also spread the word. So in the library, can I share the workshop we have done with her, or it's only what I have done with my inside school resources?
Yeah, it is clear. And well, unless you want to take it, Knut, then I can answer. All right. So the way that it is the concept is to share how to organize activities like events and courses with others. So basically, if you think that this is that you basically want to give a manual of how to organize this kind of activity to others, then this is exactly the place. Yeah. And then basically after you write it in there, the library best practice is serving as a kind of template for new events. So if some other facilitators find it interesting, they can create an activity from this library item, from this library best practice, right? So it acts as a kind of template. And yes, it's for sharing best practices in form of events with others.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, maybe I add now something. In the end, you need to clarify first with this partner or this company, EcoGuy, if they allow you to share their best practice. I mean, this is the basic question. When they are good with it, you can share whatever you want in your community. We have a similar situation here. There's a great workshop. I think Franz also participated in this workshop in Shanghai, where you do a climate collage. And it's run by a French NGO. They have a lot of local groups, but it's not on the ARK. So you could just reach out, we could reach out and say, hey, climate collage guys, is it okay if we share this on the ARK as a best practice so that it scales more? If they say yes, so why not? That's basically it. What the ARK helps you to do is it structures best practices in a way that others can understand them easy and moderate them themselves. So you put something into a global commons that we maintain together, and local communities can download it. This must be so hard, 6 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah. 7 already.
Yeah.
Any more
any more questions? Otherwise, I want to chip in a metaphor, because we have been using this metaphor. I was over the turn of the year in Berlin, and we had an event there using a best practice, the film screening that we have developed here in Austria. And we talked again a lot about this metaphor that the local communities are like turtles. They're moving rather slow. They need to be attached to real people real land, real communities, but the ARK is supposed to be a tiger. The ARK is supposed to really empower us and scale our impact. It's about sharing things together and really using technical functionalities to create more impact and making actually the life of the turtles really relaxed and more convenient. So this picture came up again, and I think it's a good picture.
Thank you for your wisdom. Any question? Any more questions?
I'm surprised actually that there are no more questions about.
Maybe not a question here, but just wanted to say thank you for your hard work. I think whoever's working on the back end, maybe if it's you, Lucas, a big thank you for that work, and also for the organization, Knut, and whoever else is involved. From my end, just wanted to say thank you.
You're welcome.
What time is in Thailand now?
Okay. Yeah.
Maybe I can ask some technical question about using ARK as a user for Lucas, maybe. Yeah. So it's nothing much about today's presentation. So maybe I just use the time of the rest. So last time I made my kid's account named TU, and I tried to link hers to mine. And I don't know why it's not work. Like it's just like I can go to the linked account, and then it's only showing you add a kid or you add a adult. But I already create her account. So yeah, so it's not linking together. Like some step I made it wrong. Okay. Clear?
Yeah, the question is clear. Yeah, so the way that this functionality is designed is that basically you don't need to register the new account for the children, because we didn't think, because you need an email, right? So we didn't think that maybe the kids have an email address. So the idea is that you only add them in your profile, and then later on, when they start to have a life on their own, they get detached from the profile. So they set up a password, or they set up another login method for this account. So they bring the childhood impact with them to the adult life. So this is the idea. So basically, the way to do it is to only use the connected accounts in your profile and create the child profile in there, and then it gets detached afterwards. Yeah, so,
okay, I see. But she don't need to. But her account won't be using as an account. Like she don't need to log in, and she don't need to do anything.
Yeah, exactly. So basically, that's why there is this select participant when you are joining activities, right? So basically, the idea is that if there are parents joining with kids, then they have their kids in their attached profile, and then they manage it for their kids, right?
Okay.
Yeah. So,
but what about their teenagers? Like they can, they can.
Yes, when they are teenagers, they have to get detached. They have to detach. They have to detach from the profile. Yeah.
Okay. Another question is, I was trying to put her account into the community.
Mm-hmm.
And it says like you already sent a request, but how can I see the request? I am in the community, but whether there is a kind of dashboard I should go, because I haven't seen the request.
Hey, Lucas, I think it's best if you really just, share maybe your account and show those two functionalities. That's a hand-on answer.
Mm-hmm. Sure. So the connected accounts, I've got just one for testing because I don't have children. But yeah, that's the way it works. That the adult profile actually will not be here anymore. Very soon, this is gonna be taken out. But here's the create child profile, and you only put the name and the year of birth, and then you are able to join activities for the child in which is connected into your profile. And second, for managing the members of communities, you open the community dashboard. So I'm going to go to Green Steps South Wilton, and in here is the card of members, which is showing all the members. And here's the way to manage community members. So you tap on that, and in here,
I think
the
thing is maybe I didn't enter the dashboard, like
right,
because my page is only showing see all, and there is no button like manage community members.
Not really. Then
well, I am a community mentor, I think.
I'm gonna check your profile. Yeah, you should be the mentor. Yes. So I'm gonna check your community afterwards. Maybe because Knut was creating it for you, there was some kind of mix-up. Anyway, so for the community profile, you click to manage community members, and here you can see the join requests, and you can select which role they will join as, and then you accept them.
Okay.
And then they are members. Yeah. So this is the way to do it.
Thanks.
Cool. Hands on.
Thank you, Elaine. And
actually, can I ask one question?
Sure.
So I'm sorry, Richard, I didn't mean to cut you off there. I'm
Go ahead.
working through just setting up a new activity, and when I get to the option of creating a new location under continents, there's only Asia and Europe available.
That's a good catch.
There's no US, my friend.
But isn't it part of Europe? I'm like completely confused.
Thanks, man. Yeah, you've been excluded. No, yeah, that's yeah, you are discovering like you discovered the continent, discovering the absence of something. So yeah, we're gonna add it next. I'm gonna add it right away.
Great.
It's a good question. Good, good feedback. Yeah. Quite a good one. All right.
Yeah. Maybe also for the pipeline for this year should be that we actually have a sort of a map that you can easily pick the location on the globe. And we want to switch completely from this national terminology, whether it's continent or nation names, to the bioregions and ecoregions. So in future, you will just choose the ecoregion. This is where you have the event going on, and then probably the city and the concrete address.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, so any more questions? If no more questions, then I hand over to Knut to tell us a bit about the objectives.
Yeah, what is there still to say? It's the beginning of the year. We discussed our quarterly development milestones, and we also set goals for 2022. Autonomous organization, so that people really develop more trust into this and don't think that this is just, I don't know, another corporate project. We would like to have 10,000 ARK learners, so people that really drive the learning on sustainability through the ARK. And we would like them to generate 1 million impact points. Isn't that a nice objective? 1 million impact points. It's not too bad, no? It's like 100 per person. I don't consider myself to be really that active, and I have already 1,700 impact points.
So
Good.
once a year.
So those are the goals for this year. Also, as a general information, so the beta phase is scheduled to last until spring equinox. That's 22nd of March. By then, we really hope to just go into production process. Although you, whoever has been involved in software engineering is a long, tedious process. And even if we go public, then there will be everything will be work in progress. So until end of March, we need to still validate the concept. Send us your feedback. We will continue to improve the ARK functionalities. Actually, our goal for the first quarter is to stabilize the functionalities that we have, and later on we will add new functionalities. Yeah, and be an active beta user. Share best practices that you have. Invite your community to join. You join them on the ARK. Join you on the ARK. Plan activities. Promote them. Be active.